Good day, folks, and welcome back to Ed's Garage at Merton Hyundai. Today, we're not looking at a Hyundai, we're looking at the 2022 Nissan Murano. I borrowed this vehicle from our Nissan dealership, and I'd like to go over all of the features with you. Now, this is the Platinum trim, so the very, very top level of the Nissan Murano. Of course, it competes with the Hyundai Santa Fe. There's some things I really like about it, and some things that I'll show you that I'm a little bit disappointed with. But you know what? It's a good-looking vehicle. It's a nice vehicle to drive. It's very comfortable, and it's an all-around good vehicle. So let's go over this. Now, this one is, of course, a V6, 260 horsepower, 240 foot-pounds of torque, mated to a CVT transmission. That's the first bit of a gripe I have with it. CVT transmissions in large vehicles, personally, I don't think they really go together. Every company has its things, and not all of them are good things. So in any event, let's check it out. Now, I will say this though, this CVT, it is perfectly fine to drive, although it does feel a little bit underpowered, comparatively speaking to some of the competition, ours included. So yeah, so I'm going to try not to be biased, but of course, selling Hyundais for a living, I know them inside and out. So if I come across as biased, I apologize. It's just what happens when you sell Hyundais for a living, or any manufacturer for that model, for that matter. However, there are some really great things about this car, and I'll show you those as well, of course. So let's start at the front end. Now, of course, this one does have the LED headlights and high beams. They're reflective style. They're not projector, but yeah, that's still pretty good. You got the LED daytime running light down the side and the bottom there. So that's a pretty nice light profile. Pretty cool, aggressive styling on those headlights, actually. I really like them. A little bit down lower, you can see we've got fog lights. It's also a reflector LED, and we have forward parking sensors here as well. And you can see the forward-facing camera right there with a dead bug in it. That's nice. So this one does have the 360 camera system, which I'll show you a little bit later. Now, looking in the windshield, you can see we've got the forward-facing camera for the autonomous emergency braking and lane keep assist. And then around the side, really nice wheels, actually. These are they're a nice gunmetal aluminum alloy rim. Let's see here, Bridgestone Duelers, which are a really good tire. So good to see. We've got some nice tires on there. These are a 20-inch rims, 235/55 R20s. And looking further down, we've got a little bit of chrome on the bottom there, some chrome door handles. Of course, it does have the proximity entry as well. No lights in the handles. Let's check out the mirrors. All right, so this vehicle, while it does have blind spot monitoring, they don't put the light in the mirror, so that's a little disappointing. It's on the inside of the A-pillar. We do have the marker lights on the outside of the mirror, which is good to see. And you can see we got the little camera right at the bottom there for the 360 camera system. No puddle lamps on this one either. Let's go around to the back. Some really cool aggressive styling here. I kind of like the floating roof design, very attractive. It's got twin chrome exhaust, and of course backup sensors along the bottom there as well. So all around a really good looking vehicle. Let's check out the back. It does of course have the power tailgate. Now I find that tailgate, it's a little slow, so newer vehicles now, they do open up a little bit faster. Not sure why the slow tailgate on that one. As far as the tailgate height, you can see I would bang my head on that, so that's another bit of a gripe I have. I'm 6'2", and I do bang my head on that. Button to close it's right there, and then there is a manual handle right there as well for adjustments. Now that is pushed up all the way, by the way, guys. I didn't try to, you know, make stuff up. We've got the privacy cover here. Now this is kind of weird. So the way that Hyundai does it, they have the privacy cover spots, so you can actually put it in multiple positions. This one, there's only one position, and I mean, it just barely moves. So I'm not sure exactly what the real point of that is. It's a little bit strange. And then you got to clip these onto the back of the seat. So yeah, not the greatest design for the privacy cover. You got the little handles here to fold the seat down, so we'll do that real quick. All right, so 60/40 split rear bench. You know, hang on. let me take this privacy cover out of the way. All right, so one thing I do like how they've done here, they've got this little flap covering the sort of the hinged portion of the seat. So a nice flat floor all the way across. So really well done there. Good design on that. You've got some underfloor storage here with the spare tire in it, of course. There isn't any like organizer or anything down here, unfortunately. So that could be better. But there is a little bit of space around the outside of the spare tire. Now, however, there is some storage on either side of the floor. It comes with a free cargo net as well. So this is a nice little storage area for maybe an umbrella or a fire extinguisher or first aid kit or something like that. And then on this side, you have a little bit more storage. So that opens up as well. And then, of course, you'll find your jack there and all the tools you need to change a tire. This does come off completely. It's not like a little hinge thing. It actually just comes off and out of the way. And then it goes back in just as easy as that. Unfortunately, what you do not see is a place to store the privacy cover. And you can see the privacy cover when it's not being used. It's just really awkward. There's a lot of material here that just kind of dangles, and there doesn't seem to be any place to kind of store it when you're not using it. And that's something that they definitely missed the mark on. All right, let's try out the back seats. All right, before I hop into the back seat, I want to show you how the folding rear seat works. So instead of having a handle on the outside here, they put a little pull tab right here. And as you put the seat down, you'll see the base of the seat actually does drop, which is good. We call that in the industry kneeling. So the seat does kneel out of the way in order to get the seat back nice and flat. One thing they don't do, though, is they don't lock that in. So if you're going over bumps and whatnot, this seat back may potentially bounce around a little bit. And in an accident, that could be potentially dangerous. So that's one thing that Hyundai's done a little bit better there as well, and possibly some other manufacturers. They actually lock the seat in. When you're sitting in this vehicle, to recline it, you do need to pull this tab as well. So we're going to jump in the other side here because I've got that seat set up where I would drive. I'm going to jump on the other side and just see how that works out. All right, so sitting in the back seat of the Murano, it's actually a pretty comfortable place to be. As far as the trim on the doors, we do have some padding there for the armrest, and of course the nice padded armrest on this side with dual cup holders and a slot for a cell phone. And of course that goes up and tucks out of the way. They are also heated seats back here. So you can see we got two adjustable levels for heated seats. And we got a USB-C port and a USB-A port for charging devices. The USB-C port, of course, is going to be more common nowadays for newer cell phones and stuff like that. You'll see USB-C on them. What's interesting though is that cell phones don't generally come with a USB-C to USB-C cable. They come with a USB-A to USB-C cable. So a lot of reviewers are saying, you know, when they see companies that only have USB-A ports, they're saying, oh, why aren't they using USB-C? The funny thing is that most devices still don't come with a USB-C to USB-C port cable. So USB-A to C actually makes more sense. But it is good to see that they have both. So that's one thing that they've done well. Now, as far as the legroom, there's a decent amount of legroom. You can see I've got about an inch in front of my knees here. And I can put I can put my feet underneath the front seat, and that's pretty comfortable. They don't have a solid seat back, so if I were, you know, pushing my seat into the seat back, the person in the front seat would also feel that, or if a child's back here kicking the seat. Unfortunately, there's no barrier between there. Now, as far as reclining the seat, okay, yeah, that's really annoying. Okay, so I can get it, but you can see my arm's kind of in an awkward angle right now, but it does recline. And the cool thing is it actually reclines pretty far as well. I'd say that that's pretty much on par with our Santa Fe as well. And you can also recline it in multiple positions like the Santa Fe. But it is really annoying to get to that handle. It would be a lot easier if it was just on the side of the seat. However, the seat is also, the actual bench is also much narrower. I'd say we've probably got about 3 inches on them as far as width goes in the Santa Fe. And beside the seat, there's actually no room. You can't really put your hand down there if there were a handle. So I guess that's why they designed it in that way. There is a somewhat bottle holder here, but it's very small, and a little bit of storage right here as well. There's a handle here, which I suppose you could store some stuff in too, but the bottle holder is quite small. Do have vents back here as well, which is nice to see. And both of the seat pack do have the pockets in them as well, so good storage there for anybody sitting back here. We have LED lighting on the top, and of course this nice beautiful quilted leather interior. I really love the interior, guys. It's a dark brown and it is quilted. We are seeing a couple of little nicks in the seat here though, which is kind of strange. This is a brand new vehicle, so that's a little bit concerning to see. The leather itself, it does look spectacular. It feels fake, and it is fake. It is leatherette. So that's unfortunate that they didn't quite get the feel right, but it looks really, really good. I also really like the wood trim on the doors. There's quite a bit of it, and it's that nice dark, almost like a dark walnut look, and it looks really good. It does, it all ties together quite nicely. All right, let's jump in the front and check out some of the features there. All right, I just noticed something as I was getting out of the vehicle that I want to point out real quick, and it's a bit of a build quality issue that I've noticed on a lot of manufactured vehicles from other manufacturers. We don't really see this on Hyundais. So this door, as an example, is actually made of 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So you've got the main sort of part of the door stamped metal, and then you have these pieces here all kind of welded on, and you can actually see where they've welded it on. And honestly, it's not super clean. There's kind of overhang there. Here, this one's nice and clean, but it's welded. This side, again, kind of messy. And this side, look at this. It's actually got, it's actually got little holes in the weld. And you can even see it extending out to here as well. And that translates further on into the front door as well. I was hoping maybe it was just one door, but no, it's actually all the doors. So just seeing stuff like that, honestly, it's the little things like that most people don't notice. But in an accident, in a side, collision, in a T-bone collision, all of these weld points are, potential points of failure, and that could enter into the cabin and essentially be dangerous. So where Hyundai is actually putting an entire piece in a stamper and stamping it, and that basically the whole door is one piece, other companies are welding those little points together, which is a little bit concerning. But not a huge deal. This vehicle did still get a 5-star crash safety rating from the National Highway Transportation Administration, so I'm sure it's still very safe. But those are things that I notice when I'm looking at other vehicles. And you know what? Like I said, there's inconsistencies in every brand. I'm not trying to be biased, but I just noticed it when I got out, and I had to show it. And that's the type of stuff that you probably won't see on most reviewers' videos. So, okay, let's jump into the car here. So, first off, again, beautiful design on the door. It's got that nice cushy armrest here as well. You've got the memory seats and mirrors, of course, and one thing our vehicles don't have, a power adjustable steering wheel. So that's pretty cool to see. All right, so before I jump in, first off, we're going to look at the power seat. Now this side, of course, the driver's side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ways of adjustment in power. And of course we have the 2-way adjustable headrest. Doesn't go back and forth, just up and down. So 8-way power adjustable driver's seat. In comparison, ours is a 12-way adjustable power driver's seat, so there's a lot more manipulation on the Santa Fe. Now, the other thing that bothered me was on the passenger side, while it is a power seat, it's only 4-way adjustment. So forwards, backwards, and then the backrest, forwards, backwards, and that's it. Again, on the Santa Fe, it's 8-way adjustment, so a lot more manipulation there. We do have a full heated steering wheel, so all 360 degrees of the steering wheel is heated. That's good to see. We've got the button here for the trunk. And then you got your safety sense technology. I'm not sure exactly what Nissan calls it, but that's part of the autonomous braking and the lane keep assist and all that stuff. That button right there controls some of those features. All right, I've jumped into the vehicle. I'm now sitting in the driver's seat, and as I mentioned before, it is a comfortable car. I have the seat adjusted a little bit further back now so that I can video tape a little better. But the seat itself is pretty comfortable. I have adjustment on the lower back support, which is kind of nice, and I can adjust the front of the seat up. The seats themselves are a little bit short. You can see my knee starts here, and the seat ends here. So that is a little bit less comfortable than what I'm used to, but it's still a pretty comfortable seat. Not sure how it would feel on a long trip, but it's got decent sort of lateral support. The headrest isn't too far back or anything, so it's not bad. It's a pretty comfortable seat. And again, this interior, honestly, it's a really, really nice interior. You can see we've got the cushioned armrest here. The only thing I don't like is my elbow tends to fall in the middle here. But if I adjust myself accordingly, it's not too bad. And of course, the dashboard is, mostly soft touch materials. We got soft touch up here. This is hard. This is soft. Along the top, this is all soft as well. I'm not really one to care about such things, to be quite honest, but I'm pointing it out only because I've had other people ask. This is also soft touch. The top here that's actually hard. And of course you got the wood trim around. The wood trim is really nice. It, as I mentioned before, it kind of goes all the way around and lines up with the door, so that's pretty cool. Nice looking interior. Steering wheel feels really nice as well. It's good and chunky, no problems there. And as I mentioned, it's heated all the way around. All right, let's start with the features. So we went over these buttons already. You'll notice we got the trip button over here. So the trip button actually only controls what you see down here. So we have basically trip A, trip B, and then our odometer. So that's it. That's all that does. It doesn't really do much else. We got the dimmer switch beside that. And then looking further to the right, we have, of course, our headlight stock. It is automatic headlights. It also has fog lights, as I mentioned. And then on this side, we have our windshield wiper stock. Does not have auto wipers, surprisingly, in this top trim. The steering wheel itself, lots of buttons on here, of course. You've got your media controls. Well, it's kind of mixed in between here. So these buttons actually control mostly the stuff on that screen, but yeah, it's also for media playback, which is kind of weird. On this side here, you got a small section for your adaptive cruise control. Someone might be able to tell me in the comments if this is stop and go. I think it is. And then you have to turn on the cruise in order to use it first. So you press that, and then you can set the cruise speed. Now, the gripe that I have here with these buttons is, so you have your voice recognition button here and your answer call, and then your sort of media buttons down here. So your volume up, volume down, source, where the music's coming from, that sort of thing. The problem I have, though, is that you have this up and down button that controls some of the stuff in this screen here. You can see that it's going through the radio presets, which is kind of weird, because when you're on a different screen, like let's say I go into the, here, I'm going to use these buttons now to go over to the settings. Here we go. And now I can't use these buttons to go into the settings. I have to go up here and press this one, which looks like it's in its own sort of world, but I press that to get into the settings. So there we go. And then I use that same button to go up and down through the settings menu. So as you can see, like this, it looks like it should just be part of, you know, the stereo stuff, because it's got the voice recognition and the answer call or the phone connectivity. But this also controls what's up on this screen. So instead of having separate controls for this screen and this screen, it kind of uses both of these, which is, you know, that makes things confusing. If you're trying to keep things easy for your customers, you probably should, you know, separate that. But anyway, so let's see what's actually in the instrument cluster screen. So you've got a small, looks like maybe a 4-inch screen there. And if we move over, we're going to start with the home screen here. So home screen gives you a compass as well as a digital speedometer, and it also shows you what's currently playing on the radio when you go through the presets using that up and down OK button. If I jump one over, it shows me the radio information screen. Jump over again, shows me our compass. Now this also has the turn-by-turn directions when you're using the built-in navigation. Then you get the drive computer, so your average fuel economy, your how long you've been on the road for, your trip computer basically, your average speed, and that sort of thing. So we're going to move over one again, shows us our fuel economy. I imagine it probably gets a little bit better than that, because that's not spectacular. Then we got our driving aids here. So as I mentioned, we have the button on the left here that enables and disables some of those driving aids, and you can see if I press the button, it's actually enabling the lane keep assist. So we'll leave that on. And then jump over again, we have our speed limit sign info. So I believe this uses the navigation system to kind of determine what the current road speed is, and it puts it up there for you. It's too bad that that doesn't actually just, well, actually it is in the top part of the screen there as well. So you can actually enable and disable that there. So we got our tire pressure sensor monitors, and if there was any warnings. And then in the settings, if I use the OK button to jump in there, so again, that's this button now. You can see we have our driver assistance settings. We've got the lane keep assist settings, lane departure warning and prevention. So there's basically a warning when you cross over a line, and lane departure prevention means basically if you start to leave, it'll assist you and put you back in the lane. Now to get out of this screen, see what I have to do is have to hit this button here. So that's yeah, it's just confusing. Blind spot monitor, speed limit signs, that's the little speed limit up there that we've got enabled. Parking aids is basically your parking sensors and also display. So when you're getting close to an object, that'll come up on this display, a picture of the vehicle with the parking sensor going, yellow, red, whatever. Going down to emergency brake, you can see we have front, rear emergency brake. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is there. Yeah, comment below if you know what that means. Driver attention alert, so that's where it actually determines whether or not you're getting tired, and it just gives you a alert if you've been on the road a long time and probably your steering input's a little bit wacky. We have that in Hyundais as well, but it's a little bit of a different system. Timer alert, I guess if the vehicle's been left running. We got a low temp alert, so that warns you if it could potentially be slippery on the roads. And cruise control alerts, again, not sure exactly what that is. So we're going to back out of there. We're going to go to customize display, and you can see we can actually change some of the things in here. So you can enable and disable all of these different options in the in this display. One thing that bothers me here, and if I turn that off, I imagine that will get rid of that once we back out. Let's try it. It didn't. Okay. Oh, okay. This is just what you're able to cycle through on the main screen. That makes sense. But yeah, what bugs me is that these, they're either, well, what is that, like a orange or they're a gray. But you know what? If I had them like kind of in between, like now which ones are selected? Is it the orange ones that are selected or the gray ones that are selected, right? Like are turned on. So maybe put a check mark in there, maybe make it a little bit more understandable. You can change the color of the car icon, which is kind of cool. I like that. Eco info settings, so you can see a history report of how the vehicle's been driving and the average fuel economy and stuff like that. It's neat. Navigation settings, so we can actually have the alerts for left turn, right turn, that sort of thing come up on the screen or just not at all. I don't know what view mode city and arrow is. I was looking that up and I couldn't figure it out. So again, if you know, please comment below. And then the welcome effect, basically just what the car does when you turn it on. Also in here, vehicle settings, you can go to rear door alerts, or this is if the rear door has been opened since the car has been on, it'll give you an alert when you shut the car off to warn you that you might have left something in the back. You can also set it to beep the horn as well. Now, unlike Hyundai vehicles, this one does not have an ultrasonic sensor in the back to detect movement inside the vehicle. So basically, it's Nissan's way of reminding you that you might have left someone or something in the back seat. Newer vehicles, you'll start to see, and eventually it'll be mandated, an actual sensor in the back of the vehicle to detect movement, to detect heart rates, that sort of thing. So that's coming. It's not in this vehicle yet, but you would find it technically in the Palisade and the Santa Fe, and we also have the same sort of alerts in our other lower models as well. All right, getting back to other stuff on the screen. So if we back out of here, you can see we've also got lighting. So this vehicle does have accent lighting. You can't change the color, unfortunately, but you can increase and decrease the lighting level there. And you can also change when it comes on, how long it stays on for, that sort of thing. Turn signal indicator, you can put it on momentary signal so that it flashes by itself 3 times. Unfortunately, what you cannot do is change how many times it flashes. So for instance, in the Santa Fe, well, any Hyundai vehicle, you can go 3, 5, or 7 flashes. And 3 flashes isn't really enough for a safe lane change. Locking, so you can of course have the vehicle automatically lock and unlock when you approach, or when you put the vehicle in drive and take it out of drive. And then enable and disable a little switch on the door as well. So just some varied settings that you can change. Speed dependent wipers. Driving position. So you can have the seat slide backwards and down when you shut the car off, or forwards and up when you turn the car on. So that's cool. That is basically like valet seating or easy access seating that you would see on the on most new cars nowadays. Remote engine start, that's just enabling and disabling the remote start from the key fob. And then in maintenance, of course, you can set your maintenance on your oil, your service reminder. Clock, this is funny. I laughed my butt off when I saw this. I was like, okay, let's go and change the clock. No, you have to use the main display to do it. Why even put the option there if you can't do it? That's just silly. TPMS settings, it's where you can change the unit measurement. And of course, units languages, pretty obvious stuff there. Key link settings. So this is really nice. This is something we don't have on Hyundai. So you've got Basically, the ability to automatically adjust your seating position, your steering wheel position, mirror position based on which key is in the vehicle when you start the vehicle. So it recognizes, you know, your spare key or your main key. So if your husband or wife has the other key, when they get in the vehicle, it'll all kind of go to their configuration. That's really nice. I wish Hyundais did that as well, but they don't. You have to press a button. Now, it's not really a huge deal, but you know, it's kind of nice to have that feature. So thank you, Nissan, for that. That's a nice feature. All right, so backing out of that one, the last one is just factory reset, and that's pretty much all the settings in that screen. Now, one thing I wanted to test out, I have a pair of polarized sunglasses here. Now, the reason I brought these here is because Hyundai makes it very, very clear that they do not use polarized screen on any of their vehicles. So I'm going to try to get this polarized sunglass lens in front of the screen. Now watch what happens if I turn the lens, because it depends on your sunglasses, okay? So this one, this screen, is not polarized by the looks of it. I'm going to get a little closer here. Yeah, no, that screen is not polarized. How about this one? Okay, so we're looking through the sunglasses normally, okay, but depending on the sunglasses, you might have that polarization, okay? Do you see that? So now we can't see through the sunglasses very well. It's quite dark. So that means that this screen is polarized. Now you're probably thinking, well, you don't turn your head sideways when you're looking at the screen. However, it's just these sunglasses happen to have the polarization in that direction. If you had sunglasses that were polarized in the other direction, you wouldn't be able to see that screen. And honestly, if I wear my sunglasses, you know, I'm kind of looking around and whatnot, you know, it does dim still. So even with these sunglasses that happen to have their polarized lines basically the same direction as the screen, you know, even that I can still see that the screen would be kind of annoying to look at. So don't polarize the screens. This is a message to all manufacturers out there. If you're going to try to eliminate glares and whatnot, you know, put a matte finish on the screen as you have done in this vehicle, but don't polarize the screen, because if anyone's wearing polarized sunglasses with a 90-degree polarization, they're not going to be able to see that screen. So unfortunate to see, but I'm glad they didn't do that, at least on that screen. So that's good. All right, so let's look at the rest of the features. Now, we do have the center cup holder armrest here. Inside there's a little shelf for some storage. You got a 12-volt power outlet there, and looks like just a light there. Nothing else inside there, but a ton of room. That's a very, very big container. Place for coins here. It's kind of nice. You've got heated and ventilated seats, so that's good to see. Cup holders here, a little bit of storage. You got a USB port here and a USB-C port as well. Now this vehicle is equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I'm not sure which of those ports actually works with that, but probably the USB-C, because it says number 1, but I could be wrong. You do also have another 12-volt power outlet here with a fake lighter. And there's your engine start-stop button. And over on the right, we've got the glove box there. So it's a decent size. It's not huge. It's not small, though. It's pretty good. We're going to skip the screen for a moment and go up to the mirror. So it's an auto-dimming rear view mirror with home link. So you've got garage door buttons and the ability to enable and disable the auto-dimming function. You got a sunglass holder here. SOS button, so Nissan has its own version of the telematics system. They only have one button though for SOS. You've got your individual map lights and of course your interior lights, and the interior lights when the door is open. Now we do have a panoramic sunroof in this vehicle, but I gotta say it's for a full panoramic roof, it's quite small. This one's probably about half the size of what you'd find in the Santa Fe, so that's a little disappointing. But the front glass does open up. It's about the size of a regular sunroof when it's open, but it does have, of course, slide back and tilt, so we can tilt it up by pressing this button upwards. Oh, sorry, pressing this button downwards. Interesting. And then as far as the sunshade goes, you can stop the sunshade anywhere, so that's good to see. All right, so let's talk about the dual zone automatic climate control. So that is a typical automatic system, so nothing too special about that. Nice to see that it has dual zone automatic climate control, and the numbers are on here, so it's it's all pretty easy to use. There's no touch sensitive buttons; it's all physical buttons, so that's kind of nice. No varying levels of auto climate control though, so it's either full on, full off using the automatic system. There's no intensity levels there, unfortunately. And as for the infotainment system, look at that; it still has a CD player. So if you're if you're still using CDs, maybe this is the car for you. But yeah, CDs are kind of going, out with like the way of the dinosaur here, but still got a CD player. Interesting. You got physical volume and tuning knobs, physical buttons for the home screen, the map, the screen brightness. Audio basically takes you to whatever music is currently playing, and then you got your camera, which is my next bone of contention. Check out the horrendous quality of the backup camera, and even honestly this screen. It's pretty low res, and the backup camera itself, well, all the cameras really, they're just potatoes. They're terrible. It's 2021. These cameras are maybe 320 by 480 resolution. They're or 240 by 480. They're very low resolution for 2021, 2022, this being a 2022 model. That's just nasty. This is not cool. This vehicle is, $50,000 new in Canada, and to have a camera that looks like it's from 2002 is pretty bad. And it's not just the backup camera, it is the full surround 360 camera. It's good to see that it has the surround 360 camera system, but yeah, just look at that. It's just nasty quality. It does have dynamic steering lines, which is good, but the dynamic steering lines are not on the 360 system, only on the backup camera. And also to note, on the 360 system, they didn't really, pair these up really nicely. The black lines just looks cheap. The black square around the car looks cheap as well. And this car, I don't know, it's not done well, I'm afraid to say. Now, as far as the screen itself, the camera doesn't seem to, okay, there we go. So if you press the camera button, it changes the view. So you've got the curb view on the right-hand side, or you've got the full backup camera. And here you can really see, look at the quality of the cars in the back. They're just really fuzzy. And then it goes back to that. So not a lot of options on there, and quite frankly, a terrible backup camera. I got to call it like I see it, guys. I mean, I'm trying not to be biased here, but that's a really, really poor system. All right, so let's look at some of the other things in here. So let's go to the home screen. So we can go straight to home with this button here, which is kind of cool. So that opens up the map. I won't press it now because I don't know if anybody's set an address in there, but I will press the map screen and show you what the map looks like. Map's actually pretty good. It looks nice. It's got the 3D option here as well. So it just goes between 3D, north up, and north forwards. So that's pretty nice. You can, let's see here. You can search for an address right on the main home screen as well. And there is 3 home screens in here. So you got the weather on that side. On this side, you can customize. You got a clock there. That's pretty cool. It's not a difficult system to use. It's not bad, and you can swipe across. It's not super snappy, but it does the job. This will also take you to your phone screen, of course, where you can quick dial messages or quick dial numbers that you've dialed before, or if you have favorites or whatnot, you can put them in there. It will also read out text messages for you as well, which is kind of cool. Over on the connection screen, you can see we can add new devices here. You've also got Wi-Fi in this vehicle. Not completely certain what the point of having Wi-Fi is here. Maybe you can do updates over the air, which is kind of cool. You can see USB devices if you have any connected. And then if we go into settings, this is where, of course, you can enable a Bluetooth device, so connect to a Bluetooth device. You can change your navigation settings from here as well. You got map settings, guidance settings, route preference, traffic information, safety guide, address book. So these are all things that you can customize and adjust. Here, let's reset the nav to default. Perfect. So that was nice and quick. So it's good to see. Yeah. See what else we got in here. You can also enable and disable the beeping sounds for when you touch the screen or touch buttons on the screen. I don't know if you can hear that. You can also change independent volumes, which is good. Sorry, I'm saying too much. So here's where you can go into your Android Auto and adjust that as well. So you can enable the USB connection. As soon as you plug it in, it's going to ask if it's okay to go into that. It's weird, I didn't see Apple CarPlay in there. I guess that sets up a little bit differently. Camera options, display settings for the camera. You can change the brightness. You can't change the resolution though, unfortunately, which would be nice. You can change the system voice. That's kind of cool. So you can put it on mail. Let's hear what that sounds like.
Please say your selected command.
Navigate to the nearest Canadian Tire.
Navigate to Canadian Tire. Please say your selected command from the displayed list.
Near current location.
Near current location. Please say or select 1. Calculate route or adjust location.
Well, of course, calculating
route. The route calculation is complete.
Okay, so that works
Proceed
pretty
to the
good.
nearest
I'm
road.
going to cancel that. So yeah, the navigation system works really, really well. I have no gripes with that whatsoever. And being able to change the voice is pretty cool as well. I mean, if we go into there and change that again here, let's show you what that sounds like. It took me a little bit to get back to that system voice setting. I couldn't find it. All right, so this is the female voice sound.
Please say or select a command.
Cancel.
Is it a go back? Canceling voice recognition.
All right, so that's the female voice. I like the sound of that one better. Okay, and then of course, yes, you can do software updates from here and map updates, presumably through wireless. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, update by Wi-Fi. So yeah, well done there. That's something we can't do yet. It's coming for ours, but it's not there yet. So Nissan Connect, that's their telematics system. So pretty cool. I believe you get that for free for 1 year. All right, now the only other thing to point out with the screen here is that it is connected to a Bose audio system. So you can see we've got the tweeters here that list the name Bose, and then of course down in the door there, I believe it's a 12 speaker Bose audio system with a subwoofer in the back. So really nice audio. I mean, Bose does a spectacular job there. And then really the only thing left is the side visors. Both slide out, and they both have mirrors, and they both have lights. So good to see there. Now, as far as Nissan's warranty goes, it's a 3-year, 60,000 limited comprehensive coverage warranty, a new car warranty, 3-year, 60,000, and then their powertrain warranty is 5-year, 100,000. So certainly not the best in the industry. It's about average. Most companies do the same thing on that as well. So decent there. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a nice vehicle. You know, obviously, I would prefer the Santa Fe, being a Hyundai salesperson. And you know, based on the features that I'm seeing in this vehicle, when you compare the pricing to a Santa Fe and the fact that, you know, this vehicle, while it doesn't have more features, as a matter of fact, it has less. It also has less horsepower. You know, you combine everything together, and I've still got to say, I mean, even without being biased, it seems to make more sense to go with a Santa Fe. Now, having said that, if you really want to play CDs, get the Murano. All right? All right. Thank you so much for making it this far, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate any comments below. If you like this one better than the Santa Fe, let me know. Maybe you do. Maybe you think that Hyundais are terrible and you absolutely would never buy one, and that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion, of course. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe for future videos, and I'll try to do my best making videos about other brands. It's just I don't always get the opportunity. So again, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Take care.